It's been an age since I've come this far into the swamp. There are some twists and turns before we get to the ruins. There's probably more than lizardlings ahead, so, lead on, I guess.
What's up?
Bring it!
Yes, indeed.
Bring it to me!
I guess I can do that.
Let's see! Let's see what you've got! Yes, indeed. Bring it to me!
Time to kill!
What's up?
Yes.
We should turn back. These aren't the ruins that your father wanted us to search. No one's ever been able to get in. Georg says it's been here for generations, and Tarma says he's heard a story about a wizard who tried to get in once and never returned. Besides, if your father wanted us to go into these ruins, you'd think he'd have told us how to get in.
Nope, can't do that. What's up? Bring it to me!
This one's mine!
I can do that!
What do you want now? Plague on your eyes!
Bust him up! Get him! Yes, indeed.
Plague on your eyes! I guess I can do that. Plague on...
I can do that! Looks like...
This one's mine!
O great spirits of the Stone Tomb, please hear our plea. The other lizardling tribes take our territory. They wage war. And before we fight them for our ancestral hatching grounds, we ask for your blessings.
There certainly are an awful lot of them. Maybe this wasn't such a good idea.
A warm blood. Here, your very presence offends the Stone God. Kill them!
Yes, indeed.
We were risking life and limb for that? None of this makes any sense. Dagon can do his own blasted quest from now on. When you're done searching around, let's get out of here.
You have returned, and you have brought the shard.
That's all you can say? I almost died out there!
If I did not believe you could handle the task, I would have sent another.
Yeah, well, you weren't out there in the swamp getting attacked by lizard folk.
No, I was here attending the wounded, Bevel. Now find Marion and do the same.
I don't see how you put up with him.
Now, for the shard. Let me see it. What I have to say to you is not for Bevel's ears, and after this night, you two shall not travel together again. Bevel has his uses, but it is not wise to depend on someone of Starling blood for too long. Also, his complaining tires me, and will not serve you where you are bound. Many such ruins lie within the mare and beneath it. They are of ancient Ilfarn, an empire once forged from an alliance of dwarfs and elves. All that remains are ruins, and little else. And their empire lives on only in history books and stories. That shard is one of a pair. Both were found after the battle that destroyed West Harbor long ago. My half-brother Duncan and I asked a mage in Neverwinter to examine the shards for enchantments, but he found nothing except a faint magical aura, residue of the battle. And so I kept one shard, and the other I gave to Duncan. Not long after I returned to West Harbor, I sealed it away in the ruins. Strange. Perhaps the attack awakened it. If so, then perhaps a second look at these shards would yield different results. But such divinations would be beyond anyone here in West Harbor, including Tarmus. I could not bring myself to cast it away. Yet at the same time, I did not wish to keep it close. You are too young to remember what occurred, I know. But the battle was a terrible one. And that shard, it reminds me too much of that night. That is the only reason I can think of for why they came. Am I certain? No. But my instincts tell me they were looking for it. It is the only thing of substance in this village that would cause them to tear it apart as they did. They were not looking for gold or valuables, nor did they seem to care about us, unless we got in their way. It was long ago, and it was a battle that did not concern West Harbor, but the village was caught up in it like many such villages in the Mare of Dead Men. We knew little about what had sparked the conflict. Demons were involved, led by a warlock of great power. We only knew him as the King of Shadows. The forces of Neverwinter attempted to drive the demons back. Many villagers fled, some taking the road, others wading into the swamp, anything to escape the battle. There was an explosion, pure and white, then nothing more. So to speak, it would be more appropriate to say that I have a half-brother. Duncan, like Bevel, has many faults that would make it wise not to rely on him or call him kin. I need you to go to the city of Neverwinter, find my half-brother Duncan, retrieve the second shard, and take it to a mage you both can trust. Duncan owns an inn in the docks district of the city, the Sunken Flagon. Not the most reputable place, but safe enough. No. As you probably realize, he will be of no help outside of West Harbor. He would only slow you down. Bevel is made for simpler things. It is a better fate than others, I assure you. That is possible, but this village cannot shelter you or survive another attack. On the road, moving, you have a chance. Once you reach Neverwinter, it may prove more difficult for them to attack you. The problem is more complicated than that. If we give them the shard, I doubt it will prevent them from believing the second one lies here as well, or others. We only found 2. It is possible there were others, scattered into the swamp or taken away, or have met other ends. There are many things I have chosen not to tell you, and that is because they are not relevant. Perhaps if you were to question less and heed my words, it would prevent you from becoming confused. I did not mean what I said, and this is no time for us to fight. You need to leave West Harbor tonight. Head to the small port town of Highcliff when you are free of the swamp. There, seek passage on a ship to Neverwinter. The beast that attacked us will leave West Harbor alone once they realize their quarry has fled. If all goes well, you should be in Neverwinter before they find your trail. Say your farewells. Your boots may travel many roads before you return. I let some of the others know you are leaving, but not the why of it. I was raised amongst the wild elves, and for all my years amongst the race of man, they make little sense to me. Even though you are not one of them, you understand them better than I. I have done all I can to hide your presence. If these beasts come again, West Harbor will need me. I have created a screen of activity. On a normal night, your trip with Bevel would have been easily spotted, but not tonight. It still may not be enough, but there is little else I can do. Perhaps one day we will speak again and gain an understanding of each other. We are all in danger. I will try my very best to keep the hunters busy. If Timora wills it, your journey will be quick and safe. But Lady Luck is fickle indeed in the mare. Steel yourself for danger. Return when you are ready to leave, and we will speak of the path you must take.
So, your father sent you off to Neverwinter, as if everything that's happened tonight isn't enough adventuring for one lifetime. I'm hoping that you'll be back soon enough after you reach the city, but most people who leave West Harbor don't come back. Just remember, you won't have any harbormen there to protect you if you get into trouble on the road. Hopefully your father's right and there will be no more attacks once the shard is gone. Still, the village will need every sword arm it has. As a member of the militia, my sworn duty is to defend West Harbor. I can't just turn my back on that. Not really. There's an inn north of here along the road. It's the only one between here and the edge of the mare, from what I understand. Plenty of lizard folk in the swamp, of course. Just stick to the roads and you'll be fine, though. At least, that's what I've heard. I've got some bandages here, though I hope you won't need to use them. You can also have my share of the loot that we found. You'll need it more than I do. Well, here. You can have what I've got left from my militia pay. Things are probably more expensive out there. Wish I could go with you, but the defense of the village is important too. Good luck. And if you run across the one who killed Amy, stick a blade through his heart for me. She deserves at least that.
This incursion is the most noteworthy event that's happened here in years. I had high hopes for Amy. She was a rare find in West Harbor. A shame she failed to heed her first lesson. Always listen to Tarmas. Not that I expect you would understand, but she was the only one capable of holding a coherent conversation with me. Go if you must, but mysteries remain here that need to be answered. An inconvenience? Bah! I wouldn't expect one of your small intellect to understand. Suffice to say that her loss pains me beyond mere inconvenience. Suffice it to say that I find the bustle of city life even less endearing than the mosquitoes here. And here I can work quietly, in exchange for teaching some mud farmer's child a bit of lore every now and again. There's more to it than farming and pig contests. Of that you can be certain. Come back later, then we can talk. Do you think it's by choice? Having filthy beggar children tidying my place up with inept hands and clouded minds? I could hire a servant for that, but the village has expectations of a resident wizard, responsibilities that cannot be shirked. So I teach them their letters so they can write dirty messages in the mud or some such rot, only to watch them throw it all away in a meaningless gesture of loyalty. Stupid girl! That man says decidedly too much. It's true that part of the reason I came to West Harbor is because of the war that was fought here. You've probably heard it mentioned from time to time, and no doubt you've also heard the same vague accounts I have, assuming you could pry even that from the other villagers. And what would they say? I'm guessing that the harbormen are as much in the dark in this as the Neverwinter archivists are. The battle that was fought here didn't involve heralds and flowery declarations. It involved the wholesale slaughter of two forces, with your village in the middle. The entire village was nearly destroyed, and almost no one who stayed in West Harbor survived the night. The whole affair is quite mysterious, I'm afraid. Demons were involved, that much is certain. But, curiously enough, there are no clear answers to who fought whom and why. I think part of it is the remoteness of the location, yes? There were few battles in the war, and all of them were fought in the Mare of Dead Men. An evil wizard was behind the whole thing. There were very few Neverwinter troops that actually saw any action, and none of them survived. You really are a harborman. People here possess the sort of subtlety commonly found in raging barbarian hordes. Ask something else. I have nothing more to say on this matter. Of course. In fact, I would prefer it. The swamp has many denizens, most dangerous, and all of them particularly irksome. But these new pests are not native. So it stands to reason they traveled through leagues of swamp trails and this odious smell to get here. Anyone that desperate has to have a good reason, so whatever you're carrying, guard it carefully. Anyone fool enough to go through that much effort to come here won't give up easily. I've already lost Amy to their determination. Dagon didn't tell me a thing, boy. But right after the attack, you dart off into the swamp, and now you're suddenly leaving. That speaks volumes. It's obvious you fetched something out there, and I'd bet gold that whatever those bladelings were searching for is in your pack at this very moment. But I don't want to know the details. Not to be overly dramatic, but I believe such knowledge could prove dangerous. Help with the journey, you say? Advice. Advice is what I can give. Use that skull of yours for more than a shield. Amy obviously failed to learn this lesson. The fool girl. As functional as the famous harborman thick-headedness is, it still won't prove much help against, let's say, a lizardling sword or javelin. You aren't mistaken on that account. Fine, take this. Perhaps it will help you. Perhaps not, but don't bother asking for more. I've already lost an apprentice on your behalf. That's all you'll be getting from me. Oh, very well. I suppose I could always use more coin.
So, Dagon is sending you to Neverwinter, eh? I can't say I approve. If it were a militia matter, I wouldn't send you alone. But I don't have any right to tell him how to raise his child. Can you at least tell me why you're going? Your father wouldn't tell me a thing. I lead the militia, so I look after people. That includes you. So why are you leaving? You're less cryptic than your father. But not by much. It won't be easy reaching Neverwinter. I've traveled that way once or twice. It's a dangerous journey, especially for one traveling alone. You might want to ask around the village. If you're going to leave, some folks might be able to offer some help. So, you want to hear a story? Look out for the swamp elf. You see, an elf never stops growing, and usually they head to Evermeet before they get much bigger than human-sized. But one of the eldest lives in our own swamp. Huge he is, tall as a tree. It's the truth, I say. This giant elf has been known to hurl rocks great distances, and it has the evil eye. If it ever locks eyes on you... No, but close. It turns you into a stone. Not stone, but a stone. Just look around the swamp, and you'll see hundreds of its victims. And just by looking at them, you can't tell if it's just an ordinary rock or whether it used to be a man. If you listen quietly, late at night, you can even hear them. Stories? Just don't look 'em in the eyes. It wouldn't surprise me if you've been there, considering how long you've gone missing before. No, I suppose even you wouldn't have made it that far. The road is as wild as a road can get and still be called a road. And that was before the patrols stopped coming. There's only the one road in the mare, and that leads to us. There's a small inn on the way. Makes most of his trade off adventurers and the like. Galen, you remember him? The merchant? Well, he says the road is even worse than before. Lizardlings and other creatures have been sighted, and in large numbers. He's about the only merchant that comes our way. Does it once or twice a year, and thank Joaquin he does. We don't have a blacksmith, so he sells us what we can't make ourselves. With the way he loves to stop and chat, I wouldn't be surprised if you caught up with him. Your guess is as good as mine. All I can say is I wish they'd start up again. Might have prevented the attack on us, or at least given us some warning. Well, you already know about that war they had against Luskan a while back. Nasty business that was. Lost too many Greycloaks in that campaign, from what I hear. The whole city was burned to the ground. Every last house. I might be exaggerating a little, but I'm telling the truth when I say a good portion of the city was destroyed, and the war killed many men. The Watch just doesn't have the numbers they used to. One of the Watch's marshals, though, is a harborman, like you and I. You remember Cormac, right? He sometimes makes his way here. Lizardlings you already know, although the ones around here are the weakest of their lot. So if you see others, expect a tough fight. The swamp beetles and other critters have been more active too. Adar said he saw a whole nest of them not 2 moons back, scuttling around the mare. And lastly, stick to the road. I hear there are spiders, walking dead, and worse, off the road. Your guess is as good as mine. All I can say is I wish they'd start up again. Might have prevented the attack on us, or at least given us some warning. Of course. Like what? You may not have trained under me, but I've always enjoyed your company. And you acquitted yourself well with the village defense. Here, take this shield. It's always served me well. And even if you don't use it, you can sell it for some gold that might do you some good.
Have you said your farewells? Take anything you need from our home. Speak with the wizard Tarmas as well. He may have a few odds and ends that he'd be willing to part with. To get to Neverwinter, take the road that borders the Starling Farm out of town. It is the only road through the Mare of Deadmen, so following it will be easy. The road itself has not been patrolled for some time, and few travel it. Move quickly, and you may be able to avoid the many beasts of the Mare. I suspect you will see your share of battle before you reach Neverwinter. Stray from the road, and the danger is even greater. I've made it known that you travel directly for the city, in the hopes that the enemy will pursue you along the high road. Instead, you will head to the small port town of Highcliff once you are clear of the swamp. From there, you will seek passage on a ship to Neverwinter. There is a ship named the Double Eagle that will await you in Highcliff. Her captain, Flynn by name, is a trusted friend of mine and will ferry you safely to the city. Your trip to Neverwinter will be quicker by water, and my attempt at misdirection may allow you to reach High Cliff before the enemy becomes aware of your true route. I have nothing more to say. It is time for you to go, my son. Each moment you remain here brings greater risk to the village.
Now that we're outside, maybe you'd like to tell me what you said again. Slowly this time, so you could think about what you're saying.
You're a small one to be taking this road all by yourself, Dwarf. Maybe you've come looking for trouble. Unless you have a little coin to convince us otherwise. Another dwarf? How many of you are there? Look, this is between us and this dwarf here, and whatever coin he happens to have with him.
Ah, you're welcome to try to take it if you're all game. You all can't be frightened of one little dwarf, can you? If you're afraid of my dwarven friend here, well, now I can understand that. But I can handle myself, unless you suddenly decide to make a friendly brawl something more.
We're not frightened of either of you, and it seems to me you need to learn a lesson.
Outnumbered? Well, I suppose they could bring some more friends if they wanted. That might even things up a bit.
This matter is between us and the dwarf here. It's none of your concern.
Come on, someone tried to hit me already. Even the newcomer here sees that you're all too afraid to do anything.
All right, I've heard enough of this. Come on, boys, let's deal with the dwarf and his new friend.
Give it up. You have got a chance.
Time to kill.
Bring it here. Feel.
Well now, that was a good fight. A shame they had to resort to weapons. But if they have to keep the odds even, can't blame them too much. Glad to see one of my kin. Even so far from home as we are. Or maybe home for you is closer than I think. Name's Kelgar, by the way, of the clan Iron Fist. I've been making my way along the coast for some time now. Stopped in the Willow here for a brief fight. Yeah, it's a shame. I was just looking to trade a few punches, then share a drink when it was all done. Either way, they get my coin, the way I saw it. Doesn't matter. They weren't worthy of a drink anyway, bringing blades into it. A friendly brawl I would have been up for, but robbery with weapons... So, tell me, what brings you out along the mare? Roads aren't exactly safe, you know, and they're getting worse all the time. Seems it's your lucky day, then. I happen to be traveling to Neverwinter as well. Now that's a tale. Oh, glad you asked. But can't discuss it without a tankard or two, I think. I say we step inside the Weeping Willow here and share our stories over a few of the innkeeper's best. So then I punched him in the face for asking. And while he was trying to pick his teeth off the floor, his friend decided to add a few choice words about my heritage. So I punched him too. So to make a long story short, I take pride in what I do, fighting. It's something you can't get enough of, and it's something where there's always room for improvement if you apply yourself, stay focused, and keep swinging. And that's why I'm headed to Neverwinter. I heard there's a house of monks there. A monastery, right? I heard they'll train anyone, just for the asking. Couldn't ask for a better opportunity. If you know of a closer one that'll train for free, well, I'm all ears. Just as long as I get that monk training. Aye, that's the short of it. Well, as it happens, I didn't always want to become a monk. What happened was that...
The Kalachar. Find it.
Well, look at this. Our next round of practice just arrived. Let's get him. Yes.
What do you want now?
Yeah?
Everyone follow me and try to keep up.
for a little fun.
What are we waiting for? Let's attack!
Glory components.
Looks like we've got some more targets to butcher.
Bonaparte. Bonaparte.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yes. Time for a little fun.
Plague on your eyes!
Yes.
on your eyes! What are we waiting for? Let's attack! Looks like we've got some more targets to butcher.
My tears right.
I guess I can do that.
Time.
This one's mine!
This one's mine! Well, now, I've had a good time so far. And the way you attract trouble, I haven't had this much fun since that tavern back at Bogan's Pass where I was using that trestle table as a battering ram. Oh, look, we're heading in the same direction, and you seem to have more enemies than friends. What say we travel together? Might be able to teach each other a few things. Good. I'd be glad for the company and the conversation. And don't you worry about me keeping up. Kelgar Iron Fist carries his own weight. I won't be slowing you down.